So I fancy turning this old industrial outdoor lamp into a lamp for the house. I found it in a pile of old junk up my back paddock, and it had been resting there for a few years, so it's a bit rusty and mouldy, but I like the idea of keeping the patinaed aesthetic. I ripped the guts out of the light and I'm just putting a lamp fitting in that I bought from Amazon. All the parts and products I use on the build I will put in the description below, so you can find them if you fancy picking up some of these bits yourself. I'm using a cedar offcut from a bench I built to mount the light to the wall, and to cut a nice angle on it I'm simply using a hole saw but with an extended drill bit in it, so I can cut this nice angle. Then it's simply just a bit of chisel work to clean out the recess. I mark an extra couple of notches so that I can get the tabs lined up with the rest of the recess. I know there'll be the odd person watching that thinks I need a special tool for all of this sort of stuff, but I love making do with what I've got and getting into it, getting the job done. Next I mark out a border so I can put some fancy detail into this block of wood. I got a 3-inch cut-off disc that I'm using as a template to mark out where I'm going to put a fish scale pattern into the timber. I use a small router and a 1/4-inch router bit to carve out all of my stuff. This is a bit of a dangerous tool, so make sure you wear safety gear if you're going to try and do this at home, but it kicks and spits everywhere, so if you're not confident with this sort of a tool, stick with a hammer and chisel. I do it this way because I'm rubbish with a hammer and chisel, and I love how fast and efficient this tool is at doing the job. I'm also a bit of a fan at the way the finish comes out. It's not quite so nice and pristine, and that's the way I like to do things. The 4 edges get a similar treatment, although I'm just doing a freehand pattern here that doesn't really emulate anything. Next I fit a rotary switch which will allow me to turn the light on and off. I simply cut a gallery into the back of the piece of timber to fit the switch and the wiring that will be associated with the light. Then I give the whole thing a bit of a sand to bring out the natural colour of the timbers and leave a little bit of the rustic weathered patina to the outside of the timber. I like to use this nice citronella and beeswax mix to seal the end result. Then move on to cleaning the lampshade and getting it prepped for a clear coat. I use simple green to clean off all of the grime from years of sitting in the dirt, and a Scotch-Brite scourer. I'm wanting to maintain the patina, so I don't want to get too aggressive and remove any of the original paint, and just want to get rid of the muck and the grime. After it gets a good rinse off, I use some electrical contact cleaner to remove all of the residual water and any grease that might be left on the light. This will save my sandpaper from clogging up a little bit. I then hit it with about a 600 grit sandpaper and clean it off with the contact cleaner again. I use this Rust-Oleum clear coat in gloss to give everything a coat of paint and seal the rust, so that it's easier to clean and will keep its look for many years to come. She gets a good 2 coats of paint, and then it's ready for assembly. This is all pretty straightforward as everything is prepped and ready to go. My only warning is if you don't have the skills to do it, then hire someone who does. Depending on the electrical code in the state or country you live in, this may well be out of your realms of ability, so try and get an electrician lined up, or at least get the item tested and tagged by an electrician once you are finished. You may also be required to have an electrician fit the light once you've finished. I'm connecting an earth wire to the metal housing so that everything is earthed back to the switchboard. I'm using some 3/8 bolts to affix the light housing to the backboard. Yes, these are just straight up into steel and nut type bolts, not generally used for wood, but because they are enormously oversized and I have drilled a smaller hole, they thread in and hold securely very well. All of the components in the back are soldered and shrink wrapped so that there's no chance of things coming loose in the future. And I use press tabs to secure the wires to their fixings once it's done. I've measured out the distance between the studs where the light will fit to the wall, so now it's simply a matter of drilling a couple of holes so that I can screw the whole unit to the wall. There is a junction box in behind this wall, but due to the size of this light fitting, I am screwing it to the studs. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. If you liked this content, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video from Build, Grow, Play.